Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of Pinfalls. Today, we'll be discussing Royal Rumble, WWE Royal Rumble airing this Saturday. Joining me, as always, podcast partner, WWE prediction partner, Tommy Else. How are you, Tommy?
I'm good, John. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing okay. Looking forward to Royal Rumble. So it's actually a very good card. I'm excited about it.
Card looks good. I'm happy about the Saturday night's pay-per-view. I hope this is a trend that continues. I think it's good for both adults and kids. You know, works out for sleepovers, works out for people who have work the next day. You know, Sunday nights. It's nice, but it's tough to do that and then get your stuff together and be up and go to work the next day and everything. So I hope they keep up the Saturday nights, but. Either way, yes, this is the first step on the road to WrestleMania, and
things are heating up.
It's setting the table. So let's get into it.
Let's jump in a bit. Before we start, though, I know you knew him. We like to dedicate today's show to Glenn Rilko, a wrestling fan, a supporter of mine on my projects, a supporter of yours in your wrestling career. Glenn recently passed away. He had a long battle with Crohn's disease. I know he had some other issues going on too. Glenn was a great guy, and he loved this show. He loved us, and rest in peace, Glenn.
Yes, rest in peace indeed. Well, why don't we dive into the matches here? What do we got?
That's why we're here, my friend. First off, we have the WWE Championship for Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley.
Very excited about this one. I've been wanting to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar since Bobby Lashley first walked down the aisle in WWE. You know, the second I saw him, I was like, well, this is the guy. We got to get in the ring with Brock Lesnar. And it's been damn near 20 years since then. And we haven't seen them two get in the ring with each other. So it is exciting. I expect I expect a good match. And I hope that they live up to that expectation. I think anyone would be disappointed if after all this time they went in and did like some 5 or 6 minute thing and then got out of there. As far as who's going over, I think that it's tough. I mean, we're looking at Brock Lesnar in a new light these days. I mean, he's very much been a face character.
Strange.
As much as Brock can be a face, he's pulling it off pretty well. I mean, he's getting laughs, but not in a like hokey way. It's not at his expense or anything necessarily. It's just funny to see him in a different light, and and not the brooding, quiet Hulk that he is with with Paul Heyman talking for him. But it's interesting. He's got he and Paul Heyman, but Lashley now has MVP as well. So you both have two very strong managers on the outside of the ring, and to encourage and advise as they have their match. I know you in the past have taken exception to what you consider to be interference from managers, but I believe they play a crucial part. As far as who's going to go over, I'm gonna have to go with Lesnar on this, only because I feel like going forward it makes sense to feud these guys. And I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one. This is not a black and white issue, so to speak. I mean, it's not an A or B either or. It's really, really close. But if I had to lean one way, I'm going to go Brock Lesnar.
Well, I go Brock Lesnar all the way. I think his title reign is nowhere near ending. I think I agree with you. This could set up a really nice feud for these two guys, a series of pay-per-view events. I think it's going to go on for a while, maybe even to WrestleMania. I don't know for sure. Did you share a ring with Bobby Lashley in your time in our pro?
I never shared a ring with him. I drove him. I picked him up at the airport one time. We went to Whole Foods together, which was a big deal.
You remember that? That was at the barn, right?
Yeah, we went to Whole Foods because the whole ride between the airport and the venue, he was telling me all about, coconut water and coconut oil, and he cooks all his food in coconut oil. He puts coconut oil all over his skin, and he does have very nice skin and a good complexion and everything. So, and it was telling me he just drinks coconut water all the time, and I told him I never had it before, and so he had to pick up some food for the night. Now, granted, most people I would pick up on the way to the venue would stop at McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever. Bobby Lashley went to Whole Foods and just got a whole mess of different things there, eating clean, keeping the machine running tip top, and he bought me a can of coconut water. So that was.
And what was your review?
I don't like coconuts, and I knew that going into it, but I wasn't going to not accept a can of coconut water and just choke it down for Bobby Lashley. So
you took one for the team, so to speak.
Yeah. And so I got to talk to him a bit and stuff. He was very, very cool. It was a very good experience. And then he did come back for another show. I didn't drive him then, but I did get to talk to him some more. Again, very, very nice. And then one time I had an instance where he had my phone number from these instances. And I remember sitting on my couch one time watching wrestling, I'm almost certain, and it rang, and I looked at it, and it said Bobby Lashley. And I thought,
bizarre.
I thought for sure he had just butt dialed me or something. Like, there's no way he's calling me. But he was, and he was calling to find out like when the next Resistance Pro show was, and if he could get on it and stuff. And I'm not quite entirely sure why he thought I was the one that he needed.
Well, we all did. Come on, you were the face of. Well, that's for another day. You were the face of that company. Man. We know.
Well, for some reason, he thought I was the one who would either be able to clear it or at least get him in the conversation or something like that. But I did not carry that authority officially, so I passed him on to those who did. But it was still a very surreal moment to be sitting there, and then suddenly Bobby Lashley shows up on my phone. So
I felt the same way when I heard Roddy Piper on my answering machine. So I know how you feel.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to complain that you possibly have insider info from Bobby Lashley, which could sway your decision here. I'm not going to go that route. I'm sure
you think that like at some point this week, like I got a call from Bobby Lashley just to give me a heads up on who might go over, and you think
is it out of the realm of possibilities?
He said, Tommy, I know Pinfalls is going to record this week. Now I need you to throw the betting off and go with Brock Lesnar and tell people that Lesnar is going to win. But I'll tell you right now, there's no way he's getting out of there with that WWE championship.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
That's what you think my week has been like, is basically.
It's not beyond possible. That's all I'm saying.
So certainly not. No, not at all.
All right. Now that we've established that you might have gotten a call from Bobby Lashley about this, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
For the Universal Championship, we have Roman Reigns, the head of the table, versus Mr. Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins.
Ooh, take it easy there, buddy. I know we're both a little jealous, that she went with this guy, but come on now. Come on. This one's not nearly as hard. I say Roman Reigns. That guy's going to Mania with the title. They didn't let him go this far with the thing, and they've had him drop it at this point. He'll go at least to Mania and then lose it and take a break. But I don't see Seth being. I'm glad to see the match happening. I think it'll be a great match. I think it's interesting that they basically had no choice but to go to Raw to find somebody to be a worthy competitor for Reigns. In my estimation, but so I expect a good match, but I don't see him dropping it to Seth Rollins. If after everything else, I don't see. I mean, not that Seth Rollins isn't deserving of the title. It's just the timing of things going into Mania. I just don't. And Reigns having held the title this long. I mean, I've been saying in the past, he's got to drop it. He's had it too long. He's had it so long, whatever. But now at this point, well, yeah, he's probably on cruise control until at least Mania, and then it's got to stop. Then they got to take it off.
Well, this one actually, I debated this one because I thought Seth might pull off the win, and then maybe Roman goes and challenges Brock at WrestleMania. But then I thought, well, do we really need to see Roman and Brock again at this point? So I end up going with Roman. And like you, I'm not sure who Roman's opponent could be. I don't really see Seth Rollins and him at WrestleMania. So it'll be interesting to see how they set it up. In either case, I do see Roman retaining the title at Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I don't know. You never know. They could always flip something where like maybe they end up putting like Big E over on SmackDown or something like that, and then he ends up going up against him, so to maybe make up for giving his title away to Brock at the last one, anything's possible. But as far as that night goes, I say I'm going with Reigns. Strong vote for Reigns.
All right, that's so far we agree on two of them. Mixed tag team, I should say. Edge and his wife, the Glamazon Beth Phoenix, take on The Miz and his wife, Maurice.
It's an interesting match. I do like these couples matches on the rare occasions that they come up. I mean, from a skill and experience standpoint, I mean, Edge and Beth Phoenix on paper should by all rights win this match. And I think that there's a strong chance of that unless they plan on carrying this thing further, which couples feuds don't really last long. They don't carry out for long periods of time. Well, this is usually a one-off type of thing. So now at the same time, the thing that Miz and Maurice have on their side is their wiliness, their craftiness, their ability to cheat well. So it does put a question mark on it, but if I'm going to lean one way or the other, I'm going to go with Edge and Beth Phoenix on this.
Well, this is another one that caused me a problem because on one hand, I agree with you. I lean towards Beth and Edge, but then I don't really know, like, what does that end the feud then? Or
I think
how does this?
I think what happens is that this breaks back off into a singles situation where you either have Edge and Miz carry it out the rest of the way, or there is the possibility that they could have Maurice and Beth Phoenix have a match or something at the next one,
That's true.
So, I mean, the feud could carry on in their respective genders, but I'd be surprised if they still kept a couples feud where they're both tagging against each other.
Yeah, because what are you going to do in the next match with the couples that you haven't done in this match? You're going to do a Hell in a Cell with the couples? That would be weird.
Yeah, the couples matches are usually more entertainment and fun. Hey, I don't want to quite go so far as to say comedy, but they tend to be more like upbeat, fun matches and stuff like that than like.
But that's exactly why I can't see that being the blowout. Like, it seems weird to put this match now in the timeline of the feud.
Again, I don't think that it's just going to stop and go away after this. This will carry on either between Edge and Miz or something. I don't know, but I don't think that the whole thing will be over, but I'd be surprised if there's any more couples interaction at this point, at least in the ring, in an official match. All
right, then we agree on three for three so far. Okay. Let's go to the last singles match we have on the card. It's for the Raw Women's title. Becky Lynch, champion, versus Doudrop.
Well, this is one where I have to make sure that I'm making my prediction based off of my instincts and not emotions, because I don't like Doudrop. I just don't like Doudrop. I don't like the name. I don't like her in the ring. I just don't like her. I don't think she's got an it factor. I don't buy her promos. I just don't, I'm not feeling it from her, and I shouldn't say I don't like her in the ring. I mean, her matches aren't bad. I think if she didn't talk, that would be a really big.
She needs a manager.
She needs a manager for sure. And I do think she's gotten a real rough ride up to this point, sticking her with Eva Marie and all that. I mean, like the fact that she survived all of that. I mean, I give her credit for that. I mean, like that's a rough way to get brought up to Raw and put in that storyline and stuff. But
and the name is dumb.
And the name is dumb. It's just like they could have just left her name alone. And I'm not putting it all on her. I mean, the creative has definitely dealt her a lot of bad hands in this scenario here. So, so those are the emotions. My instinct still lines up with my emotions though, and says Becky Lynch wins. I just don't see. I mean, Doudrop may come within a hair of winning it or something like that. But I mean, Becky, there's no way. I just don't see them putting the women's title on Doudrop, just coming up on WrestleMania when Becky has carried it since SummerSlam and, has been a relatively good heel. It's like, I don't know. I just don't see where it would go with. I think Doudrop's just a match to give her a shot, put her in a spot to fight for the title, and then move on.
The only way I could
going with Becky Lynch is the official answer.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. The only way I could see Doudrop winning this is if they really amp up her as a monster heel, and she goes in there and just pummels Becky Lynch and goes complete uber heel.
I agree.
But Becky's a heel too. So then does that turn work. Becky right? Does that turn Becky face?
No.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. I don't care how much of a heel Doudrop or anyone else comes into that match. I don't care, because even if she went up against Charlotte Flair, when she did go up against Charlotte Flair, they were both heel.
Right.
It didn't change Becky. So if Charlotte didn't do it, I don't see Doudrop making her flip. I do agree though that a strong heel charge for Doudrop would be good. I think she needs to get a manager who speaks for her and then just go out there and just beat the crap out of people. She needs to be like the next, women's big show. Nia Jax is gone. Tamina, they're not doing anything with anytime soon after 15 years,
Yeah, really.
So if she's going to play that part, then they need to really, and it's not to say she couldn't be a face down the road, but just to get the wheels rolling, and really get
sort of a fresh start.
Yeah. I think that would be the way to go. So I agree with you on that, but no, I'm going Becky Lynch on this. I think me and the rest of the world would be pretty pissed if Becky Lynch lost to Doudrop.
Well, I also thought maybe some interference from like Bianca Belair interferes, but then then whoever interferes on behalf of Doudrop is going to automatically turn heel unless there's some weird twist that they could pull. Do we really need another heel again? Unless they have plans on turning Becky face or.
Either way,
I can't see that.
Either way, even if there's chicanery involved, if they go and somehow cost Becky the title, you're still left with Doudrop as the champion. And what do you do with that?
Right.
I mean, so that's where all of that kind of hits a roadblock, I mean, like, I don't know what the hell they would do, going into the, the last couple of pay-per-views here in the WrestleMania. Other than like take it off of her after a month, and then it's like, what's the point? I mean,
she'd just be a transitional champ, and then
be a transitional champion for no good reason. And honestly, if you're going to give any of the girls, a transitional championship, I think there's a few in line ahead of her. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that, then have Natalya win the title. At least she's got the legacy.
Or like I said, even poor Tamina has been out there, slugging it away for
right.
a decade now.
Yeah. Giving a transitional title to Doudrop, I think, would actually hurt her more than help her at this point. When she gets her title, it should be, as you always say, there should be the buildup, there should be the payoff, she should get the title and she should get the rub from that title.
Well, and
make her a transitional champ,
and you want the adoration of the crowd and everything, and
or the hatred,
sure. And but her being a face, you want that crowd to be, giving her the "you deserve it" chant and stuff that following Monday. I don't think she'd get that. I don't think she'd get that. She hasn't been around long
she
enough.
Might get
she hasn't
booed.
done. Yeah, I mean, she's had how many pay-per-view matches? You don't know the number, but I mean, it's a handful at best.
At best.
And too early. She needs to get her character developed more sooner before she can go and even have a transitional championship. And again, I don't put that all on her. I put that on WWE, but it's just those things all need to come together before they put a title on her for even a day. So,
but I do think she needs a big showing of this match, though. That would be a nice jump start to the future for her.
Absolutely, and that's what this match really should be about: is making her look good and helping boost her up so that she can get into that position. But you can do that without giving her the title. So, and again, like you said, even giving her the title could hinder that. So
big time Bex retains.
She retains.
Wow, we're 4 for 4, and we have no title changes. So that's interesting. So we go to and I won't read all the names because that's ridiculous. But we go to the men's Royal Rumble, where 30 of the finest WWE men jump in the ring, and one of them survives. Who survives, Tommy?
Oh, man.
And please don't say Johnny Knoxville.
I'm not big on the whole celebrity thing, getting involved in any matches, really. I mean, although there have been a few guys who have done impressively well when they have, but even still, I'm not into it. Now, I will say, if you're going to throw somebody in something like this, the Rumble is the right match to put Johnny Knoxville in, because he could legitimately go in there and just go and get his ass kicked all over the place, and it'll be fine. They'll probably let him eliminate someone,
some jobber or low card guy,
right? But I mean, as far as calling who wins the Rumble, I don't know that I can even call that. I mean, first of all, we don't even know everyone who's going to be in it. But of the people, that's the beauty of this, though. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, of the people I'm looking at, I mean, I'm gonna say, if I gotta pick from the people they've announced, I'm gonna go with Big E. I think that they got to get him back in the title shot and send him to Mania. So, without knowing the other 8 people and looking at the list, I'm going to go with Big E. I am going Big E as well. I think for all the reasons you said, I think it sets up a nice road to WrestleMania with Big E. I think he deserves it, and I think he's going to have a monster showing in this. I think he's going to do like a Kane type thing where he eliminates a bunch of people, but he'll still be a face. But I think he's going to end up kind of a monster face. He's never won the Rumble before either, so I mean, right? It does set him up, and like I said, I think they owe him one after stealing his title from him at the last one. So, wow, 5 for 5. This is scary. Yeah. I'm starting to question that call to Bobby Lashley. But anyway, so the women's Royal Rumble, the last match on our list, I don't know where it'll be on the actual card, but we have 21 women have been announced. There's been a lot of legends returning, which I'm not happy about that. But who do you pick for this? Well, first, real quick, let me just run through a few names here of people who I don't think should be in the Rumble. I bet we agree on most of these. I don't want to see either of the Bella twins in this thing. Check. I don't think Summer Rae has any reason to be in it. Summer Rae in her prime could never have won the Women's Royal Rumble. Let's see who else here. Michelle McCool, don't care. Check. Don't know why she's there. And while I have always wanted to marry very much and marry her hard, Kelly does not belong in the Royal Rumble.
Check.
Yeah. So the ones I'm seeing on the list, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people that shouldn't even be in the conversation. So, and then we still have 9 people to be announced. Now, as far as people, if I had to bring it down to like a 4, I would definitely say Charlotte Flair's in there. I think Lita gets to the final 4. Baszler's a good chance. Mickie James, I don't think she'll go all the way to the 4th necessarily, to the bottom 4. Rhea Ripley is definitely a possibility, and I think that's 4 people.
Wait, did you say Mickie will not be in the final 4, or will he?
I don't think Mickie James will make it to the final 4. First of all, she's not going to win. There's no way. She's involved in too many other, actual wrestling promotions and stuff. And if she gets that, she's going to WrestleMania. I mean, that's a hell of a contract to pen with, the NWA and other organizations she wrestles for. So I don't think there's
some interpromotional thing going on.
But it's not impossible. But I mean,
right.
I mean, there's a lot you'd have to go through to make that happen, and is it really worth it?
Agreed. Yeah.
I don't know why, and this I might really be going out on a limb on this one. I don't know why, but I have a good feeling about Lita in this.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it's unreal.
Did you predict her?
I have Lita.
I don't know why, but I feel like they put a big spotlight on her in this whole thing. She is more than capable of doing this, and there's compelling matches to be had if this is her way of coming back and having like a short comeback run. I mean, you think about it. Edge came back and had his run. Daniel Bryan talking about Paige coming back and stuff. Why can't Lita come back and win the Women's Royal Rumble, shock everybody? And then, I mean, there would be a lot of hype going into WrestleMania if Lita is going to be competing in the women's main event. That's a big deal. My second would be Charlotte Flair, because it puts her in a position that you never really see, where Charlotte Flair would be the one picking her opponent for the Royal Rumble. Although I do disagree with the champion being in the Rumble at all. I don't think that should even be an option. She shouldn't be in there. But it would put it in a, so that would be my close second, is maybe Charlotte Flair wins, just only because it puts her in that unique position. But otherwise, I know it's kind of a stretch, but I'm gonna vote on and pull for Lita in this one, and I think a lot of people are gonna be pulling for her. So we'll see.
Well, as you know, or maybe you don't know, on Global Women's Sports Radio, I did a poll of 50 wrestlers, promotions, photographers in the business, and Lita is one of the more popular choices. That will be appearing probably as soon as this appears. We'll put them side by side, because the thing is to beat the experts, and loosely labeling you and me as experts. In that case,
loosely label yourself and put a hard stamp on me. So
I'll put a hard stamp on you. All right. I do agree with you. I think Lita's going to win for all the reasons you said. I agree with you about this. The legends, the names you listed, have no business. And if the Bellas last beyond 30 seconds, it's 30 seconds too much for me. I could live happily ever after if I never see either one of them on my TV screen again.
Amen.
I think the WWE kind of puts themselves, and one of the reasons why I think Lita might win this is the WWE puts themselves in a weird position, because if they keep bringing so-called legends back, Lita is a legend, the rest of them, most aren't. Somebody's got to eventually win, because otherwise it's like, they're just fodder. Okay, yeah, we're going to bring this back, and they get tossed out. Lita coming back sets the tone of anything could happen. Mm-hmm. She'll have her final run. It'll be a big match. Everything lines up really nicely.
I agree.
If she 100%. Wins this,
if you don't at least have some sort of question mark on the possibility of the legends who return, winning it, then it's always going to be a matter of them just being placeholders. And typically that's always been what the case was. It's why it's like, when they, it's like they're like, Hacksaw Jim Duggan is going to be in the Rumble. Well, I know his ass ain't going to WrestleMania. That would be crazy. No, most of the kids in the audience don't even know who he is. He's there for the older, fans and stuff at this point.
At least he had a career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't compare Hacksaw Jim Duggan to Summer Rae.
I know, but at the same time, I'm talking about a guy who, it proves the point all the more, though. I mean, he at least had a career and had all that stuff, and even he's not going to get, that honor. So, I mean, Summer Rae is, and I have I have a favorite story about Summer Rae, but I can't tell it on this show. But
more inside information. Have you talked to her now? Is
no,
this whole thing? The whole picture's coming together.
I wish I did, buddy. That's one number I do not have in my phone, but wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind spending time with Summer Rae. I just don't think that she should be winning the Royal Rumble. Now, if we were on a date or something, I wouldn't bring that up. I would tell her that I think she's got this locked. And
that John guy was ripping you, but I think this is yours.
Before he could finish the sentence, I said Summer Rae.
Cut him off.
Yeah.
Delete.
But that aside, no, I agree, and you're right. It would give some validity to the true legends who come through there, and give the question mark in the future of, well, hey, Lita did it, so why can't so and so, possibly win it? So I think that's a good call.
But I do think the Mickie James thing boggles my mind. Well, to match you, I'll say my final four were going to be Lita, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, and Mickie James. Now,
and those are all good choices. Yeah,
the Mickie James thing is interesting to me because what does the WWE get? Who gets more out of this, the WWE or Mickie / NWA? The WWE could have brought back Trish Stratus and got just as much of a pump. I'm confused a little bit.
They could, but I think that speaks all the more to the idea that Lita could win the Rumble. Because if you put Trish Stratus in there and Lita, it becomes more about them, and then it's and it coming down to then you'd have to have Trish come down into the last final four or something. Or as far as Mickie James, I'm not entirely sure what their motivation is. If they're trying to maybe convince her to come back to WWE or something. I mean, they let her go under unceremonious circumstances. So it's interesting that they're coming back at all, or she is. I think if anything, it does give more of a rub to the NWA. That is for the people who are more loyal to that organization, to see one of their people going back and hopping in the Rumble. She's a fan favorite. I don't know why they tapped her to bring her in, but I'm happy to see her, but I certainly don't think she's going all the way. I don't even really think she will make it to the final four. So,
well, but see, that's you brought it up too, the way she left. So what's in it for her to come back? So I have to think the WWE is going to give her a good push, at least in this Rumble. I don't know if she's going to come back for anything else after this, but I don't see her going in there and just being in and out. She's got to have a good show.
I don't think she'll be.
Why would she agree to it?
I don't think she'll be in and out. I think she'll have a run, but they also don't want to put over someone from another company too hard either, and then give them back and not do anything. There's nothing to be gained for the WWE in it, but they're not going to, it's not in her best interest or in the NWA's best interest for her to go over there and just get her ass kicked into, people, and then that's it. So she's got to have a run that's worthwhile, but I don't know. That's some behind the scenes stuff that I don't really understand. That I don't know what their intentions are, so it's hard to say. I will say I read that the Iconics were also invited to be a part of the Royal Rumble, and who were also both fairly unceremoniously let go from the company, and they turned down the offer, which I would have too if I were them.
Yeah, because they're doing fine.
Yeah, they're doing fine, and they were actually like, still on fire as far as I'm concerned. They were still doing really well when they got let go. So it just didn't make a lot of sense, and a lot of people were mad that they got let go. They were split up and then let go. And then so no, if I was them and then they were like, hey, want to come back for the Rumble? It's like, why? For what? To go there and
Right.
lose, and then it's a payday, and that's it. And some things aren't worth money,
Which is why I'll go back to it. I still think Mickie James has to have a good showing. I think she's going to end up. Maybe she draws like a number in the mid-teens, so she's not in there for 60 minutes or 30 minutes, or however long the thing goes, but ends up in the final four. So people think she actually has a shot of winning.
Well, sure. No, yeah. Well, if you bring her in there and it looks like she's got no shot, there's nothing compelling about it. But I mean, you yourself said you don't expect that she's going to be in the final four. So
no, I do think she's going to be in the final. I think Mickey's going to be. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Mickie, Bianca, Liv Morgan, and Lita, the winner.
So you don't think Charlotte's going to make it to the final four?
No, I think Charlotte is going to make a long time. She might draw number one and last a long time, but she's not. I don't see her making the final four.
Well, that's possible too, because you could have Lita end up being the one who like eliminates her.
That could be.
And then, so now in the final four that it's not going to be her. And then when you see Lita in the final four with the other girls, that's when everyone's going to be like, all right, we really got to get behind Lita and cheer her on. So good prediction. Good prediction. I think there's something to be said for that. So,
well, there's a lot of stories. This Royal Rumble, this particular match, the Women's Royal Rumble, really has got a lot of possibilities, a lot of scenarios. And I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah. I am too. Are you going to come over for the Royal Rumble, or are you going to blow off another pay-per-view that you've never been to?
I'm supposed to be working in Indiana, but I have yet to hear from him. So I will find out.
It's funny how you always seem to be in Indiana every time I invite you over,
for
various
I do
things.
have a father that lives in Indiana. And
various things. I'm going to be in Indiana probably that night, but
at the Duck Collectors Expo in Cherville, Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you think I just made it up off the top of my head?
Hey, buddy, your hobbies are your thing. That's
It's not a hobby; it's a job. Cash.
Yeah, well,
unless the IRS is listening, that is just a hobby.
Well, all right. Well, enjoy the Duck show. Meanwhile, I'll be watching the Royal Rumble and the beginning of the road to WrestleMania.
Well, this is bizarre. Before we go, this is bizarre because we agree on all 6 matches. Agreeing on the first 4 isn't too shocking. Picking the winner of both the Royal Rumbles and agreeing on that is rather
because we're choosing from supposedly 30-some people.
30?
Or 21 right now, but even still, yeah.
There will be 30.
There will be 30. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a predictable Rumble, or maybe we're just maybe we're both just way off. I mean, who knows? We'll see. I don't know.
Well, one last question. Is there a chance of the 9 remaining unnamed women, is there a chance for Erica St. Vaughn to make an appearance?
I happen to know that Erica St. Vaughn would be ready, willing, and able to go down to St. Louis and gladly participate in the Women's Royal Rumble. So,
see more insider info.
The WWE has a few days to reach out to her, and if they do, it's only a 4-hour drive from where she's at to get down there, so she could be ready to go at a phone call's notice. So,
well, if Dr. Tom and the rest of them are listening, you got my vote. I want to see Erica St. Vaughn be a surprise entrance.
And if for some reason they don't tap Erica St. Vaughn, I would still be very happy to have Santina Marella present in the Women's Royal Rumble.
With Beth Phoenix back, you never know.
You never know.
Didn't they have they had a little thing going, right?
Oh yeah. They were
on screen at least. I mean,
yeah. So either one of those would be welcome additions to the open 9 slots there. You could have them both. maybe get them in there together against each other. Who knows?
Do you have any prediction before we go? Do you have any prediction on a surprise entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble?
No, because I don't know anymore. There's so many people that they've let go over the years and stuff. Again, like I said, I think it would be a bad move to try to bring Trish Stratus into it. I think it takes the shine off of Lita, so I wouldn't go counting on her. Anybody else from their era, or even a little after, say like Candice Michelle or any of them. I just don't see anybody in the 9 on men's or women's who are going to make any significant difference in it, unless they're bringing someone back full time, and this is their way of reintroducing them to the WWE universe. So I can't think of anybody specific off the top of my head right now, but
I will throw out a name, and I will throw out Lisa Marie Varon, aka Victoria.
Yeah, but to what end?
It's a nostalgia pump.
So just
she's not going to win it.
A one night only thing. Yeah, no, it's sure. No, it's not impossible. And again, she's from Chicago, so it's 4-hour ride down there. She's going to go down to do the Rumble, so why not? She's in the area. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Yeah,
that's my prediction.
Maybe we'll give you like a bonus point if she shows up or something.
Thanks, man. Always got my back. Yeah. Well, that does it for another episode of Pinfalls Royal Rumble 2022. Wow, 2022. That just blows my mind.
Yes.
As always, I am John of JohnTV.com. This has been a Global Women's Sports production, and I appreciate Tommy's inclusion, and we'll be back next month with the next pay-per-view.
Thanks again for having me, John, and have fun at the Duck Show.
Watch the Rumble.